It's me, MLB. Here's chapter 65 of Really Fake, and this one is titled Syrupy Fun. I gotta admit, I've never done anything like this before, you said with a chuckle as you watched him climb out onto the roof and then followed out after him. There's a first time for everything, he said back to you, giving you his hand so he could help you out. Once out in the night, you and Kuroo walked over to the front part of the roof. From there you could see the lights from the city beyond, and you smiled. This is another really nice spot, you said to him. I like these places that you choose. They're very different from the normal date spots, but I like that. I don't really care where we go. As long as you're here, I'm happy, Kuroo said, sitting down on the roof. Same. You smiled back at him and sat down as well. Good company always wins over setting, but the lights in the distance over there are a nice romantic touch. You want a pancake? Kuroo held the plate out to you. You took one and reached for the maple syrup and then drizzled a healthy amount onto the centre of the delicious round dessert and promptly folded it in half. Kuroo watched with amusement as you tilted your head back and shoved one end into your mouth and then bit down, getting most of the pancake in, but also getting a heap of syrup on your bottom lip that dribbled down your chin. Mmm! You hummed in exclamation, cupping your hand under your chin to catch any potential drops of the sweet nectar, but suddenly your hand was removed and something warm encased your chin. You screeched with a mouthful, trying to figure out what had got to your chin, then realised it was Kuroo's mouth. He had seen the syrup drip down and had immediately jumped in to rescue you, with his tongue and mouth. Chewing rapidly to get the food down, you placed hands either side of his head and screamed into your mouthful, playfully popping his cheeks to get him to pull back, but he was enjoying being attached to you and instead leaned in, forcing you to lay back. You choked and spluttered, coughed and snorted as you rolled onto your side away from him so you didn't inhale your food. Ah! You finally screeched out. Why? Please, you nearly ate me whole. Oh, you want me to eat you whole? That can definitely be arranged. Kuroo leered, sitting up and back. Not if I beat you to it, you replied cheekily, grabbing for the syrup bottle and kneeling up so you could hold it over his head. Oi, what are you... Before he could grab your hand, you had squirted a bit out and it dripped down onto his nose and then over his lips, and you dropped the bottle and lunged at him, pushing him back onto the roof tiles as your tongue licked over his top lip and then up the side of his nose. It was his turn to splutter and writhe under you now, and you chuckled while licking and kissing the sweet condiment off, ending with you both chuckling and kissing. What started as playfulness quickly turned erotic, and your tongues slid and twisted over each other's, licking the syrup from each other's mouths as your bodies aligned to join in the fun. I don't think I need a pancake now, Kuroo said in a soft voice, once you pulled back. I've already had my sugar hit for today. Well, I have a huge sweet tooth, so I'm not done yet, you replied, reaching out for the maple syrup bottle again. Kuroo was expecting you to drizzle it across his lips again, so he was a little surprised when you slunk down his body a little bit and tugged at the top of his pants. What you doing down there? He asked curiously, pulling his elbows up under his back so he could rest on them. Then it clicked. Uh-huh, he hummed, reaching for the opening of his pants and pulling it down with your help. The next morning you woke to Kuroo's alarm ringing and looked over at him as he remained sound asleep beside you with two pillows pressed either side of his head. Suro, you rasped in your morning voice. We have school. He hummed, lifting his head up. You looked at him and then burst out laughing. What? He mumbled sleepily. Your hair. What about it? He asked groggily. It's perfect. And it was. Perfectly shaped up like you'd always seen it. I thought you used some kind of gel or something to do your hair, but this is how you do it? You asked, still in awe of his hair. Yeah, he replied, not understanding what the fuss was all about. Amazing, you whispered, reaching out to gently touch his fringe. He gave you a very sleepy, loving look, and the two of you shared a moment together, still naked, and still twisted up in the sheets of his bed. I'd do this all day, but we probably should get going, Kuroo finally said with a soft smile. Yeah, you replied. That's if I can walk, though. Kuroo rolled away from you onto his back and did a twisted cat-type stretch, then got up and walked around to your side of the bed and scooped you up from under his covers. I don't mind carrying you around today, he said as he walked off to the bathroom with you bridal style in his arms. Can I at least put clothes on? You asked. No. Please? No. I like you with nothing on. Once back in your clothes, you helped Kuroo pack away the pancakes from last night that were still sitting on the desk in the study, then headed for the front door. I'll get my school clothes on and then be at school as soon as possible. I might be a little bit late, you said, kissing him on the cheek before heading off down the path. We'll see you there, he called, watching you go with a smirk on his face. Who would have thought that I'd end up with such an amazing girl that started with her randomly taking my picture? Late on a Monday? MF asked as you came racing up behind her and caught her just at the school gates. I spent no time with Kuroo on the weekend and kind of slept over. Did you know his hair is permanently like that? I'm sorry, what? She replied with a chuckle. I have no idea what you're talking about, but my mind is still stuck on the kind of slept over part. Yeah, well, we kind of hung out. Kinda? Okay, hung out and then I slept over, you said, trying to keep the smugness in your voice in check. Slept over, she commented, emphasizing the slept and hoping you would elaborate. And there ends chapter 65. Stay tuned for chapter 66 coming tomorrow.